The chief Remainer has been forced to apologise to Brexiteers after 4 years.
But before we get into the video, guys, don't forget we just launched our latest collection.
With everything going on in the world, the I Believe in Britain campaign is our subtle way of keeping the Brexit message alive.
We've got t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, caps, you name it.
Just click on the link in the description box or click here to get one of your own.
So let's spread the word because we are the silent majority and we do believe in Britain.
Well, most of you know who Carol Cadwalder is, or as we say on this channel, Carol Baskin. She's one of the chief Remainers who spent the last 4 years coming up with weird theories about how the Brexit campaign won, how it was Russia. It was basically not really a proper mandate for the referendum. It was a whole weird situation with people like her and obviously Julian Moran and Gina Miller. But Carol is obviously quite big on The Guardian, the world of The Guardian. Yeah, that still exists. And she has been going around saying that Aaron Banks, who was one of the senior figures, part of the Leave.eu campaign and Grassroots South, and that side of the Brexit campaign, was working with Russia. God knows why. Now, the update that we have now is that she said on 22nd of October 2020, I tweeted that Aaron had been found to have broken the law. I accept that he has not. I regret making this false statement, which I have deleted. I undertake not to repeat it. I apologize to Aaron for the upset and distress caused. This was, guessing, made by her lawyers because of, obviously, the false claims that she's been making. But that's not the end of the story. For those of you who think that, oh, let's just leave her alone, like she's fine, just move on to the next thing. No, just because we're going to talk about why this matters in this video. People like her and also the European Union, they don't give up. And because she still has the case. And Aaron Banks firstly come out today saying that she's commented on her saying, I thought the judge was a model of clarity today. She needs to prove the allegation I lied about a secret relationship with the Russians over the campaign cash, that she has none. This is about the truth rather than restricting press freedom. Now, as Guido Fawkes has said, all Carol has to do to win the case is produce the evidence to back up her claim. For 4 years, many people who were opposed to Brexit have had a psychological need to explain the vote away with magical thinking. And so the target for her crowdfund is £175,000 for a case. And the problem for her is that the NCA, with all their obviously powers that they have ability to obviously check bank records, phone records, and everything like that, I found no evidence. There's absolutely no evidence because we know it's nonsense. Now, Carol does not accept this, that this is a reality. Now, Aaron Banks has asked her to withdraw the claims and apologise more than once. And he isn't in this for the money. She's obviously refusing to do so when it comes to the legal side of it. And it's embarrassing for everyone. It's embarrassing for obviously the Remain side, but the European Union and all these guys. It's not really normal. I know that. But when it comes to federalists and the EU fans, but also the European Union, they all have the same mentality. We remember back in 2016, the referendum, we were fighting not just against the Remain campaign. We were up against the central banks, the International Monetary Fund, obviously the United Nations. You had the President of the United States. You had every single international body they could think of. And all the big corporations, all the powerful people, the big media, everybody was against us. And still, ordinary people and the silent majority won that game because that was the right thing to do. And the reason for that is because they always make their deals behind closed doors. These are the people who have all these secret meetings and all these dealings. That's why they think everyone is like them. People like Carol, all the Remainers, all the EU people, especially the actual officials, the bureaucrats, they're used to this sort of mentality. Having secret meetings, having secret dealings. So they think, well, I'm guessing Vote Leave won because they had secret relationships as well. That's not true. This is normal for you guys. This come out now recently that the European Union, they were essentially trying to hide the information when it comes to the Maastricht Treaty that turned the original European project into the European Union in the 90s. So the EU wanted to keep the Maastricht Treaty secret from the public, but because Denmark was legally obliged to have a referendum on it, copies of the treaty ended up being leaked to a newspaper in the UK. Why? Why are you doing this? And you had people like John Major at the time, who was Prime Minister. This was the same John Major who complained about Boris Johnson shutting down Parliament. He did it himself. Yeah, he did. For those of you who don't remember, back in the 90s, he actually suspended Parliament himself when it suited him. But back in 2019, when Boris Johnson wanted to do that to pass through Brexit, apparently that wasn't right. The same guy who were using certain names and brand labels that we can't really use on this channel to name Brexiteers or Eurosceptics back in the 90s in his own party is now talking about being civilized and how Brexiteers and Donald Trump use bad language. The hypocrisy is astonishing. He talks about transparency, people like him, people like Carol, yet their own beloved European Union do everything in secret, and that's not the right thing to do. So going back to this treaty, which was the international agreement that turned the EEC into the European Union, with initially only 12 member states, it laid down the groundwork for economic and monetary union with a single currency at its heart and new rules on inflation, debt, and interest rate regulations. All of this was supposed to be hidden. The details of it were supposed to be hidden from the public. We got lucky because of Denmark, essentially. Now, the treaty, which greatly increased the powers of the European Commission, was widely unpopular, and according to the UKIP founder Alan Sked, was meant to be kept secret from the public. Now, obviously, there are a lot of people, especially from the LSE, who are claiming that British citizens were never meant to read it. I mean, you guys are talking about how Brexiteers apparently had secret meetings and kept things secret, which they didn't. But your own side have been doing this for decades and decades. When you have people like Merkel and Macron making decisions in secret, don't think you have any ground, Carol Baskin. So, but things are actually slightly changing. The negotiations are ongoing. We don't exactly know where we stand. There's a lot of dodgy situations that's going to come, especially with the fisheries, but also level playing field. Some people are becoming obviously tired and frustrated with all these Brexit talks, up to a point where people are now confusing the current potential deal or no deal with the previous deal or no deal. With the previous one was Brexit. It was having a Brexit deal or not having a Brexit deal. Brexit's now happened. So what they're negotiating is not Brexit anymore. It's I know in name only. Yeah, it's for trade. So we should really stop saying Brexit deal at this point when it comes to the December 2020, because it's the trade negotiations. So if we leave without a deal, it basically just means that our transition period has been expired and we are now an independent country on WTO terms. And I know that this is what we've been asking during the first stage of negotiations for the divorce part, the withdrawal agreement. But now that we actually got this deal, the actual Brexit deal, there's nothing wrong with having a trade deal with the European Union on paper. The problem with it is that the European Union don't trade fairly. So if we could ensure that the trade deal that we're signing is simply a good trade deal, but based on economic needs rather than political alignment, I'm absolutely fine with it. If it's going to be a confusing situation where we're not really a member, but we're still a member, I'm not going to support it either. I'd rather just get out and have the European Union realize that they need us more than we need them, because we're signing all these other trade deals anyway across the world, and then get them to come back. I've said it so many times on this channel, but let's not be against a trade deal as a concept overall. Let's still be free traders. That's the whole point of Brexit. It's supposed to be global Britain, taking care of your country first, your sovereignty, your democracy, your borders. Believe in Britain, but also be global. There's a difference between being a globalist and being an internationalist. I'm not a globalist. I'm an internationalist. So I believe in international trade and cooperation, as long as it's our choice, not mandatory. But I'm not really a globalist in terms of ignore national sovereignty and just create a Star Trek fantasy world and have a United States of Europe, or have the UN becoming the commission for the whole of the planet and have one president of the world. I don't know, like Obama. No, let's not do that. Have your country first, believe in your borders, believe in your flag, but try to be pro-trade. Protectionism doesn't work. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to get our merchandise if you do believe in Britain, and if you're still part of the silent majority, if you want to defend it, then get your merchandise. The link is in the description, or you could just find this click on something on top of my head as usual. And we're getting close to 200,000 subscribers. Thanks again for everyone for supporting me and the whole channel until now. Click on the subscribe button if you haven't already. I'm Tousi. I'll see you guys in the next video.